Alright, homie. It is 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, December 31st, 2024. This is for week 52. I just finished kind of going through my old journals and seeing, like taking note of I went into Habit Bowl basically and updated it all the way fully up. I just want to talk about the year in its entirety. So, at the beginning of this year, um, I had basically gotten right onto the bandwagon. I kind of wanted to pick up where I left off in late April. And basically, late April of last year, that is. So, like, this year when it started off, I got to pick up right from there. And we were basically solid until June. And June is when um, I don't want to, like, do too much. Let me just go to monthly. So yeah, January, February, March, April, May, and then June I had a couple instances where I used drugs, right? And that was alcohol and whatever. Oh, actually, it was just alcohol. Uh, and basically, since then, it's been like, let me just go like this. Let me go to my workout area because this is probably a better indicator. So yeah, I took a little break after I dropped my mixtape. Then, after June, once I purchased those drugs, that's when things got a little bit shaky. That's when I really like exhaled a little bit. And I remember mentioning that it's probably just because I'm not used to, like, 6 months is like the max amount of time I'm used to, like, being on my square. Um, and I'll be honest, this is gonna be more general. It's not gonna be super specific the way I want it to be. Like, I don't have my other journal from the beginning of the year. So I think I actually have like I filled like three. Like there was three different books that it was all in. But yeah, basically I got back on. Like I was on and off in July, and then I got back on fully in August. September I was smashing it, and then shit went sideways, and my parents did their thing. Got back on it late October, and then from there it's just been kind of like wishy washy, 50-50, the best I can do, right? On Habit Bowl, it says all of our habits is 76%. I'm pretty sure I posted well more, like well over 365 videos on YouTube. Um, it says 87% on sugar, which is pretty good. 100% on my 2-hour sessions, basically 100% on meditation. And then 88% no drugs. So, I mean, if you think about it, what's, uh, let's just go to the calculator. 365, I think this is a leap year, so 366 times 0.88. All right. So that's like 44 days of drinking out of the year, right? And the hard part about it, when it comes to the money, is that I started having to purchase my own food at some point. So there's a mixture of how much money was spent on food and how much money was spent on booze. But either way, however you want to look at it, I spent, before anything happened, right, like leading up to all the way through to the beginning of October, I probably spent about $300 on nonsense, right? At the beginning of the year, I had to spend money on initiating arbitration. There was some credit repair stuff I probably did, right? Like to bureau bullies, um, but it was really low, right? Like I'll probably be like less than $500 or $600, um, right, all the way up until June. Then when I got into when we talk about October, right? Um, I'm thinking the number's like 650 that I probably spent in October. Um, maybe even more than that. Actually, it might have been like a rack on food. I mean, seriously, food and drugs. And then this month in December, I spent like $700. Right? Actually, yeah, almost $800. So that's like 1,800. Then what's the other thing? 1,800 and then there's another like 200 in there, so it's like 2,000. Plus the other like 300 that I spent on stuff earlier. So just giving a rough idea of how much was spent. 2,300. I mean, sue me. You know what I mean? I purchased a laptop for 1,400. I purchased this vehicle for 2,800. Actually, it was about 3,000. What else? That's about that. So we were the major things that happened. We got our business credit card, our first business credit card. We moved out to back to California and successfully transitioned into living into a solar motorhome, which is a huge, huge, huge dub. We got our laptop, which we've been planning on getting for a long ass time. We finished the album before it's even really, we got a long time before. Not a long time, but it's early. It's finished very early, and did our best. I'm not. I'm gonna call it a fat win because I've been very focused. Like the month of October or whatever was tough, and December was tough. In terms of like just drug use and like emotionally or whatever. Um, but I feel fairly solid. And let me just like, well, that's just kind of like my general, whatever shaboing for the year. I mean, uh, we lost one arbitration case or whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't say lost, kind of just nothing happened. It was just a waste of time. Um, and then the Chase case, we still don't have a resolution, a complete resolution. I think we're gonna win, but I don't know for sure. Uh, and I didn't like really pay attention to like I'll tell you what, I hadn't smoked tobacco all year long until like just the other day, which is pretty good. Um, and I'm also very comfortable with my alcohol use, minus um, like okay. So what I'm saying is the amount of money, the amount of drinking. For the most part, I'm okay with it. Uh, I just wish that there wasn't so many occasions where where I couldn't remember things. I put it like that. So I feel like those are the scary one. Those are the scary moments where you just you don't wanna have that happen. Bad things can happen then. So um, that being said, I guess we could talk about just this week real quick. Uh, I intend on potentially kind of having a little bit of a moment here and like maybe 15 or 20 minutes in I'll probably take a toke and stuff like that. I just came back from the dispensary. uh, I went I woke up at like 3. I had some coffee, took a shit at the McDonald's, and then just basically went straight to the dispensary. I'm back, and I came back and I kind of wanted to eat or whatever, but I'm excited. I had a beer and some wine. I started having a tall boy, and I like sipped on some wine while I was on the bus. Uh, but let's just talk about this last little week right here. So when I recorded the last vlog, it was about 10 days ago. Okay, 5 of those days I used drugs, which is crazy. That is not the cadence I want to be doing, but that's been kind of where it's gotten to. No exercise was done. I've been recording music and trying not to socialize. I cleaned the fuck out of the vehicle, like super. Like I mopped the floor. I took the garbages out. Um, I wiped every surface down and everything. Like it was spick and span in here, and it's, kind of. I'm gaining ground is like the main idea of what I want to say. Like, oh, I did the piss as well, you know. Um, yeah, basically, it's the truck is gradually getting cleaner, and that's what the main. It's a net positive. Uh, I also calculated my December spending and retroactively did my journals. So I was able to track my spending based off of, receipts slash bank statements. And the number was ridiculously high. It's like almost $700. The thing is that if I get EBT, it just kind of puts me back prior to exactly where I was before that, before all of that took place. And then on top of that, I actually got $200 from my aunt like the other day. So, and then since then, I decided that I'm going to take a week off. Um, Basically, let these holidays pass. Uh, Rest my body fully and my mind fully. And I mean when I say I'm literally trying to make myself not do anything. So not playing StarCraft, not working out, not planning or researching too super hard, not going too hard in the sessions, right? Now I still actually did a couple, like I've been doing sessions here and there, but just casually, however I feel like doing it. Um, and Yeah, uh, Monday we start Monday, which I believe is like the fourth or something like that. So we're gonna let all of these. We're just gonna start fresh on Monday. That's just how it's gonna be. Um, and so yeah, that's like a few more days of basically just I'm not doing anything. What's today? Wednesday, Tuesday? What did I say? Tuesday. Uh, yeah, I'm just going to chill and hang out. I might go to the DMV. I might, try to handle some. I might talk to my guidance counselor or whatever. But the point is mostly to rest my body, but also my mind as well, um, and and really just kind of get a grip on myself. Uh, yeah, I I feel. Let me just talk about Christmas real quick. So Christmas Day, right? I actually like I put cookies out for for Santa Claus. I wrote him a little note. Cried a little bit, like hard, like bawled a little bit. Not for long, but just like I did cry really hard, like for a good 5 minutes or so. Just because of everything, you know what I mean? Because of the fact that my social situation back at home, you know, I've essentially like I deleted the Facebook app off of my phone. I deleted the Messenger app off of my phone, and I made it to where you can't see if I'm online on Discord or on Instagram to avoid having any type of forced interaction with anyone from home. And it's not because I'm mad at them. It's more because I peeped that they are upset with me or jealous or whatever, and they don't want that. If they could, they would have me. They would sabotage what I have going on, and that energy is kind of what I've been dealing with, and why I've been drinking so much and not going to the gym and stuff like that. Now, the weather and the holidays and all that has complicated the situation even further. But going forward, I have a plan where I intend on basically going to the gym and the library pretty consistently at the same time. So the library is 10 to 2, right? Um, and then um, the gym is 5 to 9. But they're only open on at that time Monday through Thursday. So Monday through Thursday, Cause that's like, bro, this like a lot of this is just trying to figure out the order and the schedule of things, and like the library has weird hours depending on the day. The I can't consistently count on being able to do things at the crib because there's overcast for days at a time or rain at days at a time. You know what I mean? So I've just been trying to like shuffle through, and what I've been doing lately is just like, okay, when you wake up, pick out of the three. Are we gonna go to the gym? Are we gonna go to the library? Or are we gonna stream SC2? Or are we gonna do a session? And that's just kind of what I'm doing. Just kind of, you know, swinging willy nilly. Throwing punches and bunches, and just trying to make sure I do the best that I can, right? But God knows that I am capable of, churning out work like a factory. And ultimately, that's where I want to get back to, right? When I was at the crib, I could just like, okay, turn off the CB stream, turn on the Twitch stream now. You know what I mean? And there's no interruption or anything like that. Now I have to figure out, okay, I need to travel to the gym, right? I need to travel here. I need to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So, recently, I've been like, over these days that I'm taking off, I've been trying to focus on sadhana, right? I've been like, in bed for like a few hours, like just trying to like, okay, intentionally smile, remember the things you need to remember spiritually to maneuver about properly. And I don't really want to talk about all that, but hopefully I remember when I do actually see this. So okay, we're about 16 minutes in now, but let me just finish this idea. So basically, the idea is, yeah. So the gym days, if I do 5 to 9, that's 5 out. That's 5 sets and posts on those 4 days. So that does my 20 sets and posts a week, and then it gives me enough time to travel to the library, and then the session either happens before or after that. And I'm not sure how that's gonna work yet, but yeah, that's the on Mondays, and then Friday through Sunday I feel like are good studio days. Maybe Friday is a studio day, Saturday is more of a recovery day, and then Sunday is like is a rest day or whatever. You know what I mean? And then on those days, all I'm doing is streaming. Streaming and whatever schoolwork, maybe that kind of thing. Yeah, I feel like this is probably the best schedule right now. And then obviously, like this the I've been so I want to avoid tobacco. I want to avoid processed foods, right? I've been taking it easy in those realms because, I'm in a difficult situation, right? Emotionally, physically, financially, all that. And, the priority is more my sanity. You know what I mean? So, but now, with the upcoming year, I'm telling you, right? I was very excited about Eric and him producing this project, but then I just started to realize like I actually need to not communicate with these people as much as possible, right? I have a need for certain kind of attention, right? So I probably will talk to some family members, but I also have to have to keep my guard up and make sure I don't communicate things I don't want everyone to know, because that's how it works. All of the information that I'm sharing with, it could be one person that I tell, everyone will find out about it. I don't know how that happens, but that is how it's turned out to be. So, and they also want me to fail, right? They also want it to be bad. So they're fishing for that type of information, and reporting back positive information is hurting. It hurts them. So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna be on your mind all the time. I'm not gonna like be all in your face about the fact that you have to do what you have to do, right? For your family and whatever, like, and I'm not gonna rub it in. And that's basically how they see it. I'm over here, happy as shit. I'm ready to like create opportunities for people and stuff like that. But they don't have that same excitement. They don't feel that same way, and I can't make them feel that way about my situation, right? And I can't change their situation because they made decisions about how they live their life and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I have to do this by myself. I'll mix this shit my motherfucking self, right? And fuck all this. Like I was thinking about dropping a mixtape randomly to kind of like basically diss Marlon, but I'm like, man, I'm not trying to help him. I'm not trying to what's it called uh oversaturate my situation. I'm gonna release a lot of music on 420. I want to focus all of my energy in terms of that, like, well, that my all of my music energy into that project and that rollout and that release. I don't care what all these other motherfuckers are doing, because I don't it doesn't matter to me. Even if they don't want to support me or whatever, I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't I don't need your support anyway. I basically didn't have it before, you know so my intention was to like basically try to do the whole thing again, and I might, but I'm I really do need to isolate. Being alone is good for me spiritually right now. Being alone is the reason why I came over here in the first place, was so that I could really align myself spiritually with what I was receiving, what my gut was telling me. And I've seen glimpses of that during my period here, but I'm still not all the way alone. You know what I mean? They're still, you know, talking about me and spreading information about me and hating on me. And I'm realizing, okay, this is how it always was, and we're not going to repeat this same pattern again. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, the problem isn't me. I'll make that very clear. The problem isn't me. It's that fucking town, you know? And it's small town mindset, small town behavior, and shit like that. So I'm not going to be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish if I keep myself over there, because it fucks with my energy. I'm telling you. It's like when you talk to somebody who's supposed to be caring about you, and they're like trying to drive the conversation in a direction of, only giving attention to negative stuff. Like it's just manipulating you to try to drive you in this way. And I'm peeping it, and I'm aware of it. Right. And it's like, bro, I'm like, I don't need to deal with all that, man. You know what I mean? I have it better off than all of those motherfuckers anyway. And I have I need to focus on my dreams and what I'm trying to accomplish, right? So, that being said, what else? Let's see. Yeah, so basically we have an idea, an outline of how we're going to attack at least this first quarter of the year, right? Right? 30 to 90 days of complete silence and just locking in and just, you know what I mean? Every single day doing my thing. I'm super excited because I just know that I'm going to see results. I want to get back to like making what I call high class music, as opposed to the high energy ratchetness that I've been listening to slash trying to emulate because of just how it affects me. And yeah, I want to definitely, stay with majority fruit diet. It's not expensive to eat fruit here. And you supplement that with protein shakes and ramen and oats and with eggs and vitamins. Definitely no soda. Want to have some V8 pretty much every day. And then I want to do the thing where I do 2 to 4 drinks max. Like I have the wine available to me when I do my session for the third hour. Right, have that explosive third hour, and then go to the gym or go to the library, whichever day, whatever kind of day it is, and then just focus on that. School will be back in session a week in, So then we'll have that extra little chore, not a big deal. And then I'm actually considering not leaving for Los Angeles, just because of it's like, bro, I don't know. I just feel like the way things are set up right now. I don't know. I'm not gonna make that. I'm considering not doing that. I had it in my mind that I was going to, but like I want to give this routine the good old college try, at least for like a month or so, or maybe a couple weeks, and just see how it goes. I haven't been in communication with anybody. I haven't really, too much looked into tools that I could be using, stuff like that. I've come across some randomly. I'm definitely gaining information about the hip hop scene and about the streets in general based on just like the stuff that interests me that I'm watching for entertainment. But yeah, there's not like any type of major closure to this year yet. We still have the award to hear about in January. I still need to figure out about my financial aid. I still need to do my DMV trip and insurance, you know, and I still need to get in the groove with doing my routine. The same problems, that we've been having for quite a long time. What I can say though is, I am at peace with my production levels, because I know for a fact I've been trying. This is the same situation as when I was in Tampa, right? It's like technically, not much happened from, like for the couple months I was there. I think it was June and July, and post. Well, no, I actually made money the other time when I was there working, but yeah, like I was just in a situation, and I was like, I was trying to work out, trying to do my post, trying to do everything that I could, and that's all you can do. Am I bugging? I mean, so in this particular instance, my situation, my routine, greatly resembles what it would be like at home, relative to what it was in the previous iteration of not being at home, right? So, you know, right now we're financially straight. I haven't had to get a job. That was part of the plan. I haven't had to get a job. Doesn't look like I'm going to need to get a job. Based off I'm 1 year closer to getting my bachelor's degree, which is a major dub. I have improved my credit a ton, a ton. I don't even know how much, but I improved my credit a lot this year. Probably about 100 points. I don't really know for sure. I guess I could check that. I'm not trying to do shit, man. Stop playing with me. Yeah, it doesn't. I like how it doesn't let you go back far. Like, ugh, such a pain in the ass. Anyway, it's improved a lot. No negative anything about on my credit at all this year. Building my business credit as well. What else? Yeah, so I guess we could talk about next year, man. I know. Okay, so basically we're flirting with financial freedom. If I get uh, the credit repair all the way right, or if I get a large lump sum of money from Chase, or you know something like that. The fuck going on? What's moving? I'm hearing movement. Um, Yeah, I don't want to say. Basically, we're just trying to. Okay, so first and foremost, graduate with a bachelor's degree in psychology from the Florida Institute of Technology with a 3.5 GPA total, right? A cumulative GPA of 3.5, so that I can continue to get my master's. That's goal number one. That's going to be hard to do, right? But I am in position. If I keep going at the pace that I've been this year, I might be able to get that 3.5. And, if I don't get it exactly, there's a couple classes I could retake from earlier on that are really easy, that I'll easily pass with an A at this point, right? Because I have like a D or a C in some classes, and that'll get it right. I'm just going to continue to do my best when it comes to that. Other than that, we are hoping to be able to finish our credit repair. We're talking about, credit sweep, a CPN, business credit, something of that nature to get that ball rolling, right? Once I'm able to have, it's the same plan as before, but whatever. Once I'm able to have access to business credit and I'm able to, I'm talking about zero interest, 0% APR, or zero interest for an intro APR, 0% intro APR for a year plus, and I can do that once. Then there's also like it's both basically most of the same. I don't really have an expectation. I like to be able to get funding for the music project. I'd like to be able to put some type of promotional budget together. I'd like to be able to finish school. I'd like to be able to get my credit right, and that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? So that being said, I'm gonna take a little bit of a. I'm gonna say cheers, and I'm gonna hit this Bud Light one time. I'm gonna chug this one and open up another one because it's hype. It's hype time. It's fucking New Year's, and we are 1 hour away from New Year's on the East Coast. So cheers. I might take a toke as well, but I kind of just want to let my mind roam a little bit. I'm gonna give myself the opportunity to just speak about this. You know, what I know for certain, right, is that I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing. Right? I'm going to dedicate as much time as possible into music, sadhana, music. Well, I'll say it in the right order too, as well, because I wrote this down. Sadhana, sessions, StarCraft, exercise, music, and business. These are like this. Everything falls under one of these things. Sadhana actually encompasses it all. You know, it's all part of sadhana, but sadhana is the foundation. High vibrational activities. That means you avoid certain foods, you avoid certain drugs, you avoid certain practices, certain behaviors in the name of raising your vibration. So you could do things like smiling intentionally, meditating, exercising, sessions, music, improving your situation, your position in life, which is part of the whole business portion. We know interest rates are going to come down, you know what I'm saying? And all that. So, I've been giving myself a lot of credit for over the last little bit about being in this position, right? Being in a situation where I've successfully transitioned out of the house, but I outdid my expectations by getting the solar setup, you know, and feeling as safe as I do, and getting the coffee and and figuring out the groceries and figuring out how to, the exercise portion. Right, we're still working on it, but in general, we have like a general idea of what our days are going to look like, right? And we've established that over a 3 month period in this last little bit, you know. And so we're primed and ready to be super efficient, to be super efficient, sustainable, enjoyable, productive, all at the same time. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, that is the probably the biggest thing that's happened besides, like, okay, so the business credit card, huge. The establishment of, because I did kind of start this process like basically all the way through September. Once September happened and I got to that part, where I was making all these purchases and I had that routine really ironed out. That's a big step, right? Now that got disrupted, as you would expect, based off of my past and my experiences. Did I do anything wrong? Absolutely not. That was coming. That was coming. They were waiting to do that. If anything, it was better that it happened, bro. That it happened that way, as opposed to. And let me tell you something. Motherfuckers were peeping what I was doing. People knew what was happening. If I had waited, I would have had to stay the holidays there. Man, I would have been miserable. I would have been miserable. Instead, I made this move, which is courageous, and God caught me. And now, in that short period of time, right, I could have just like chilled out, you know, just hung out at the in the John and did nothing or whatever. But I've been practicing. I've been trying to get into this routine. I made a lot of good music. So, um, if we're able to, really nut up and say, I will not be denied, and do our routine proper, right? Putting in, making sure that we're eating the proper foods and just, sustenance to fuel the whole thing. And get in that routine, we're going to make a lot of money and a lot of progress very quick. We might be getting a huge settlement. You know, we might be able to resolve our credit situation faster than we expect. But that's not even really that big a deal. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like the big win is the situation I'm in. So I can comfortably continue to go to school. And be safe. Like just I think it was this week. I realized, like, I don't have to necessarily stream every time I do a session or do a or play StarCraft. Like, I could just play StarCraft, play 10 games of StarCraft. You know what I'm saying? And like, save the replays so that I can do them later. That's a move that I can do. I can just do my session. I don't have to stream it. The streaming portion is just icing on the cake. You feel me? So, in the very near future, basically, like, it's the same things I've been saying. I need to get EBT, right? I need to go to the DMB to handle that. Insurance, and financial aid. Once all that is figured out, um, we've got research into like business plans and credit repair, and then sessions, exercise, or well, really it's sessions, StarCraft, and exercise. Our routine. So the macro play is like, okay, we're going to improve our credit situation, keep learning about opportunities in business and stuff like that, and then do our routine, do the elbow grease portion, do the clocking in, and just every day making progress and towards these aims. You feel me? Ugh. Ugh. I'm alive. I made it through this process. I don't even know if it's really like if you can really understand just how much I feel like my situation annoys other motherfuckers. It's like, yep, I didn't start a family. I didn't get into, did certain situations. I never, I refused to pay rent. I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices that I made over the course of my life to arrive at this particular situation in my life at this point. And other motherfuckers, I'm talking about being homeless. I'm talking about fighting people. I'm talking about really going through it. Being ostracized and mistreated and bullied. And so I think that's a pretty that's more like it, is is this a victory that I've and I don't that's why I don't want to complain about, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. Man, I need to be grateful for the establishment of the routine, the time that I had at my parents' house, to establish, okay, these 4-hour segments, these are the things that matter to me, you know, and this is what I want to put my time toward. This is what I want to continue to get better at, right? Meanwhile, my brother or the people that back there, they don't make progress. They literally they're playing video games with all their time off from their job. And then you have the people that are like working multiple jobs and then also trying to like figure out business and stuff like that on at the same time. It's impossible. It's nearly impossible. Period. And the seeing some, like someone said on Facebook, they said it's hard to see someone else living your dream, basically. And that is kind of what's happening. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I wish, I mean, yeah, that's great and everything, but what I would rather it be is me. I'd rather me be in that position or whatever. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of why I'm like, bro, take a break. You know what I mean? And I mean a purposeful break, an on purpose break, not a forced one because it's raining forever or because you're exhausted. Take a real break. Take a real breather. Enjoy the safety and security that you have, because I'm telling you, I think about it on a daily basis. I see people going to work and doing whatever, and I'm like, I have that, but I'm not having. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't have everything that they have, but it's like I'm pretty close. And literally, like, if I get a settlement for a decent amount of money, I could parlay that into like many years of bills. You know, like I'm literally on the verge, on the cusp of never having to work a job again. And just being able to like keep doing, keep streaming, keep playing, you know, like I got back to plat one as Terran. I'm telling you, I keep getting these tastes and these glimpses. I'll only be able to string together like 2, 3, 4 days in a row of like consistent activity. But in those periods of time, I'm still getting like a lot of followers, a lot of money, a lot of compliments and inspiration and shit like that. So, you know, that sample, that test. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Period. 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 It's like that. Let me see what else. Um, I can't be afraid. I can't be worried. It's impossible knowing what I know. I'm gonna light a cigarette over here. See how close to an hour am I? Ooh, pretty close. I literally found a pack of Camels as I was walking. I kicked it like, as you do, and expecting obviously maybe a couple in there or none, and the motherfucker's like full, with like a Lucky separated and everything. So yeah, um, this is not the end. Obviously, this is the beginning. Um, it's a great place to start, as Sade would say. Um, without the context of where I'm from and all that stuff, is still quite nice. I mean, I'm supposed to graduate by my birthday, my 30th birthday, and you know what I'm saying. I'll have my bachelor's degree. I mean, I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good thing. And in theory, uh, I should be able to just kind of keep going to school. Worst case scenario, it's like, okay, make sure you're living within your means in terms of the money that you're making and the money that you're spending, right? And that's already happening. My bills are like $500 or $600. I'm making $9 every month, so that's sufficient. Um, and that's like all of it. That's like including there's nothing to be cut, or there's nothing more to add as a potential thing to spend. It's just like literally that's what it is. um I'm gonna get a little bit bolder here in a second, but okay, I think that's probably good enough for this cigarette. Just let that. I wish there was like a little, like, I don't know, something to mount a fucking, like, I don't know, like something like a I could probably put like a cup right there, and use like a magnet to stick it there, so I could just kind of like stick the cigarette inside it, so it doesn't have to stay inside the vehicle, because you know, the smell of it is kind of intense. But I guess I'll just put it here for now. Yeah, so when I was talking about expectations earlier, I was like basically saying like, well, I mean, technically, I don't really have that much in terms of expectations because um, I just, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, uh, I can't really guarantee much of anything. You know what I mean? Like, all I can say is that I know I'm going to put that work in, and personally, that's what I'm getting at. Personally, I feel like, okay, I know a lot is going to happen. I just don't. I can't guarantee. I can't actually sit here and guarantee it, but I know personally that's going to happen, right? So, you know, um, let's just say. I'm trying to think of the way to say this, man. Right? Like I said, I know I can pretty much count on graduating and continuing on with a master's, right? Not having to work a job if I don't want to. Releasing a much more professional project this April. Continued credit repair. Right? I'm not certain that people are going to cooperate with me. That's the thing. It's like I can't say like without a shadow of a doubt, like, oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna fucking. I know I'm gonna make this much. Like, right? I don't even know if I'm gonna get the settlement. That's one. I don't know if I'm gonna. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're gonna. What's gonna happen? There's a lot of unknowns there. But if I had to predict, just saying like crazy, like just fucking throwing, you know. Um. Right. It's like if I had it my way, this is how it would go. And let me just grab my brewskis. Before I do this, I'm probably gonna let this go a little over. I don't even care. Let's go back to the shaboing. Okay, it's still recording. That's great. So if I have it my way, I figure out an even better way of credit repair, a more aggressive way after receiving a large sum of money, right? So I receive a large sum of money, and I have no worries about. That's actually something that I like doing too. Instead of saying specifics, just in generalities, speaking generalities, because sometimes it doesn't work out how you think. But basically, I'm talking about like another level of fame, street fame. Kind of a recognizable face in the space. Okay. Financial freedom out for a few years at least. So knowing it's like, okay, I'm not gonna have to work a job if I don't want to, and I probably won't. Like I think about it, but then it's like my time is worth more than that. I can't. Right? Monetarily wise, it might make sense, but it just doesn't. It does not. It's not okay. So, you know, further like extending the amount of time that I will not have to work past, you know, July of next year, for instance. Because that's pretty much where we're at now. I don't think I have to work until, or I won't have to do anything until probably maybe even later than that, September, October, is when like the funds would be running out. Um, just extend that for a couple years. Again, low level fame, maybe a YouTube partner, a Twitch affiliate, um, you know, maybe like a small income from, CB and all that. Uh, Notoriety for music, some type of deal, some type of, whether it be my own label or company. Um, uh, yeah, some type of like official deal with funding and a budget. Um, Definitely performances. Definitely performances. I'm gonna say that again. Definitely performances. I'm not super like excited about that. I'm nervous about it, right? Um, like what I want to do is I want to drop music like a you know just out of the sky kind of thing, and then have people just bump it like they're like a NBA YoungBoy. Right? He's remote somewhere. He can't perform. He's just dropping music and people are streaming it. That's probably the ideal situation. But I haven't performed to know whether I would like it or not. So definitely intend on performing and traveling around. Let me see what else. Mm, yeah, and then let's achieve that. Let's achieve like, let's say like perfect credit this year at some point. I'm not gonna say when, but at some point this year we should have, a Sound Daniel Studio should be funded at least once. The first round of funding should happen. And then obviously having the routine even more hammered out. Um, you know, there's probably a little bit of diminishing returns at some point. I mean, you can only be so organized and so streamlined, but I just like it to be hammered out. I like it to be like, okay, this is what my day looks like. This is what my week looks like. This is what my, every 3 months is what a quarter looks like. Even further, right? Um, and that's probably it. There's some adjustments to this vehicle I could make, right? Like I'd like to probably double the battery bank size, maybe throw another solar panel on this bad boy. Some adjustments there. I could see myself purchasing a good amount of clothes, um, to have myself, my wardrobe like a newer kind of wardrobe. Let me see. Um, I'd like to try to purchase a property or purchase a business and or purchase a business. I'm kind of just spitballing. You see, now I'm being a little bit more out there about what it is that I would like. I'm not saying that this is not what you can expect. This is more like just kind of where my mind is at with it. Um, yeah. Oh, did you say chug? Gotcha. So I'm gonna stop this bad boy at 1 hour, and then we're gonna do a part two. That may or may not make it. But let me just stop this part right here. Call this week 52. Hopefully this is sufficient. You know, we'll see. If anything, I'll fix it in week one. But for now, turn up.